Welcome back. Rough economic news for Joe Biden today. GDP coming in at 1.6%, the lowest in 2 years. Economists, they were predicting about 2.4, so this is nearly a point lower than the anticipated number. Not good for any of us, especially not for the guy in the White House. Also, inflation is still raging. The core inflation index coming in at 3.7, and excluding food and energy on that. So what's that mean? Well, instead of a rate cut, if you're trying to buy a house or want to borrow some money, start a business, buy a car, instead of a cut, we could very likely see a rate hike this year because they can't get inflation under control. So what's Joe Biden's answer to that? Well, of course, let's raise taxes so he and his buddies can spend more of your money in Washington. That's always the answer. Biden proposing a 25% tax on unrealized gains in his 2025 budget, a tax on the increase in the value of an asset which somebody owns that hasn't even been sold yet. So let's say your house. Is it worth more than you paid for it? Well, look out. They might try to come collect on that at some point. $35 trillion in debt this country. They want to spend $2 trillion more this year than we bring in. And all they want to do is raise taxes. Economist Stephen Moore joins us now. And sir, it's good to have you back on. A GDP and inflation, meltdown today. And this is the plan that they have. How many different bad directions can they take us in?
Well, let's start with the report that came out today. It was a really poor report, and it shows that this so-called recovery that Joe Biden has been bragging about, Rob, for the last 3 months, it's not happening. And, you actually understated the inflation rate, because if you look at the inflation over the last 3 months, it's closer to 4 to 5%, not below 4%. So really disappointing. And, as you know, one of the fastest components of the GDP has been government. We don't want government to be growing. We want government to be receding. So that's the story there. We've never, I don't think that we have ever in the history of our country taxed unrealized capital gains. I want people to understand how dangerous this is. Yeah. You're literally going to have people, and they say, oh, it's going to be billionaires. No, it's not. They're coming after everybody. You know that. I know that. Everybody listening to the show knows it. So you're going to have people, let's say you bought a farm for, let's say $500,000 about 10 years ago, and let's say that farm is worth $3 million right now. So you've got a $2.5 million paper gain on that. They want to tax 30% of that. Rob, where is the farmer going to get the money to pay the tax? You're going to literally have people having to sell their farm to pay the tax. I mean, this is outrageous. This is un-American.
And they're never going to get it done. But the point is that this is what they're talking about. They want to get something like this done. If they did, they'd destroy the economy, and somebody with clear heads is going to come in. But the point is this, to the people out there, they cannot stop spending money. They are crackheads in Washington when it comes to money. They can't stop doing it.
That's right. And
their only answer is to get more of it, no matter where they can find it. And if we don't vote these people out of power and send a resounding message, I don't know what the future looks like in this country. They're going to tax and spend us into bankruptcy. And I think that's the point. Go ahead.
You cannot tax your way out of this. No country ever got rich by taxing. The number that I've seen is a $3 to $4 trillion tax increase over the next decade. That will destroy the economy. At the same time, they're trying to destroy our oil and gas industry. They're letting anybody in over the border. These problems, and they won't cut a penny. I mean, even the $95 billion aid package. I'm still angry about this, Rob, because people, my friends and I argue about whether that was worth doing or not. I was against it, but here's the point. Rob, you know how much of that was paid for? Not one single damn penny. No. They just borrowed it. It's just monetary theory. Just keep spending and spending and borrowing. This is craziness. And I have to say, Rob, even the Republicans are not so good on this either.
No. I mean, we call it out on both sides. It makes you sick. I mean, they talk about Trump, but it was at least Trump cut taxes for people. He wanted to reduce the size of the government. He wanted people to spend less money on taxes. So when you talk about what he added, he wants to make the government smaller. That's part of the plan. Steve Moore, we got to leave it there. We appreciate it, sir. Thank you so much.